Today, we're jumping into a really powerful story about two competing visions. On one side, you have a mission to build a global civilization on the foundation of truth. And on the other, a plan to tear that very civilization down from the inside out. It's a conflict that honestly gets to the heart of what it means to truly believe in something. Okay, let's get into it. Everything, and I mean everything, about the Prophet Muhammad's mission was built on this one core idea. You see, this wasn't just about giving people a new religion. It was about hitting the reset button on society, building it on something real, something you could test, something honest. The goal was a world where truth wasn't just a nice idea, but the very air you breathe. So just how big was this vision? Well, it might have started in one city, but the ambition, that was always global. And that's a really important distinction. The point wasn't just to rack up a high score of followers. No, the idea was to lay the actual groundwork for a civilization that could last for centuries. An ummah not based on where you're from or what language you speak, but on a set of shared principles. And these were the pillars, the absolute bedrock of that new civilization. We're talking about more than just faith here. It was about raising people who had knowledge of the world, the wisdom to actually use that knowledge, a sense of inner purification, and a rock-solid commitment to justice. These were the essential building blocks for this new society. But just as this incredible structure was going up, a new threat started to appear. And it wasn't coming from some army on the horizon, it was coming from the inside. And this is such a powerful way to think about it. Hypocrisy isn't like a battering ram at the gates. It's like a termite. It's quiet, it eats away at the foundations of the community when no one is looking, from the inside out. It's the kind of infestation that can make the whole thing just collapse on itself. So this really lays out the two opposing forces in Medina perfectly. On one hand, you have the Prophet, who is all about building a unified community, an ummah based on truth. And on the other hand, you've got this guy, Abdullah ibn Ubay, whose only goal, his only ambition, was to be king. So while one person is building, the other is scheming, trying to divide, undermine, and grab power for himself. So how exactly did this saboteur go about his work? Well, it wasn't random. He had a very clear playbook designed to create maximum chaos. His strategy was incredibly methodical. First, he'd praise the Prophet in public, saying things like, "Listen to this messenger," but then he'd work against him behind closed doors. Then came the economic warfare. After that, he started stirring up old tribal hatreds. And finally, he resorted to slander and rumors to attack the Prophet's integrity and plant seeds of doubt everywhere. This was the heart of his economic attack. He saw that the new folks, the poor, were being taken care of by the community's resources. So his plan was devastatingly simple: cut off the money. He figured if you can just starve the movement, the people will have no choice but to leave, the Prophet loses all his influence, and boom, the path to the throne is wide open. And this was probably his most vicious tactic. The Prophet had worked so hard to erase the old lines, to make everyone feel like they were part of one single family. Abdullah ibn Ubay tried to do the exact opposite. He tried to light those old fires again, telling the locals, the Ansar, that the immigrants, the Muhajirin, were beneath them and needed to be kicked out. He was trying to smash the very thing that made the community strong, its unity. So with this kind of sabotage happening right under everyone's noses, it brings up a huge question. How do you tell who's genuine and who's the termite in the wood? I mean, think about it. You can't just crack open someone's chest and look inside their heart. So in a world full of promises and praise and pretty words, how in the world do you measure what someone actually believes? So here's the bottom line. The Quran's answer is actually incredibly simple. The ultimate test isn't what a person says they believe. It's what they do. Talk is cheap. Actions, now that's the real currency of faith. The principle is really that straightforward. Do their actions line up with their words? That's it. Sincere faith is when what a person claims to believe consistently matches what they actually go out and do. The hypocrite says one thing and does another. The believer's path is a straight line. Okay, so we've looked at the history, but this story doesn't just stay in the past. It transforms into a timeless and pretty urgent warning for anyone who claims to be a believer. The Quran points to two things that, even though they're blessings, can actually become the biggest distractions from our real purpose in life: our wealth and our children. So why these two? Because the chase for money and the deep, deep concern we have for our families, They can become so all-consuming that we just lose sight of the bigger picture. They can become the perfect excuses for not stepping up, for not making sacrifices, for not living up to the very truth we say we believe in. And right here is the solution, the antidote. It's a call to action. Specifically, the act of giving from what you have before it's too late. It's a direct command to prove your faith with your actions, using the very thing, your wealth, that could have been your biggest distraction. The message here is incredibly stark and clear. When death comes knocking, there are no do-overs. There are no extensions, no last-minute deals to prove you are sincere. You can't bargain and say, hey, just give me a little more time and I promise I'll get it right. The time to act is now.
And that's really what it all boils down to. The story of this saboteur from centuries ago, it's not just a history lesson. It's a mirror. It forces every single one of us to ask ourselves, are my actions building something up? Or am I, maybe without even realizing it, tearing something down? Because at the end of the day, it's not about what we say we believe. It's about what we do. And when that final moment comes for each of us, the only thing that will speak for us is the record of our actions.